Welcome to another episode of the Art of Interception, where we say what needs to be said. I got my little bro in here, little special guest, another special guest, you know what I mean? This one gonna be titled, My Entitled Little Brother, for back in the day, you know what I mean? Shout out to my brother making it, you know what I mean? Put this story together.
Yes, sir.
Gotta each one teach one, you know what I mean? Make each other better out here, you know what I mean? So little bro, introduce yourself.
So let me set the record for straight. First of all, I'm the only little brother.
Only. One and only.
One and only blood little brother. So let's set the record straight. He has other brothers, but I'm the one and only.
Yeah, either one and only.
So my name is Terrell CEO Samuel, aka Talk Don't Stop, we ain't punching no clocks. I came up with that name, man. It's been a lot of trials and tribulations to get that name, but I put CEO in front of my name because we all are CEOs and we the CEOs of our life. So, you know.
We are our brand.
Right.
Terrell LLC, Asante LLC.
Yep.
Take advantage of that.
Yes, sir.
Let's jump right into it, you know what I mean? So, I was drafted in New England 2003. And I went to New England, right? How did that make you feel when your big brother was drafted? What was going on, you know, in your mind? Just the beginning before anything transpired, you know what I mean?
So I was in middle school at that time. And it was kind of like a big deal. At times it wasn't because I couldn't really see it, you know.
You weren't feeling it?
Yeah, I couldn't really feel it. We grew up in separate households, so. And you were way older than me, so I couldn't really feel it at the time. But as I got older, you know, I started realizing, you know, what type of individual he was, you know. So yeah, I was in middle school and then people used to be running around like, oh, your brother in the league, and oh, congratulations, you know his brother in the league. But it wasn't a big deal, like I said, because I couldn't really feel it.
So your friends and you had people around you, oh, your brother in the NFL, was that making you feel it anyway, or it made you feel like you was being like you say, you wouldn't feel a part, you wasn't feeling a part of it? Did it make you feel left out at a time, or?
So I was living in like two different parallel universes, kind of.
All right, we're talking about middle school, right?
Yeah, so, you know, we were living in Section 8 at the time, me and my mom, and you were in the league, so it was kind of like, people would see me living in Section 8, and then they would think, like, oh, your brother in the NFL, you know, why you in the Section 8, and why you don't take care of your brother? All these questions that used to come to me, and you know, it's kind of hard in the beginning, so I just kind of like, I disclosed what I wanted to disclose, but, you know, it was just really, I didn't really feel it, you know,
like you said, it was a situation that you was dealing with and you didn't know how to deal with it. You got all these people saying this and saying that, you're young, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, let's fast forward. So, high school, you get into trouble, not on the right path. Did you start off right? Were you starting off on the right path and then went left, or you just never got on the right path in high school?
So I'll say this, moms are great, especially when you have a loving mom. They're wonderful. My mom did everything for me. She was a great mom. But at times, because of what they had been through, she tried to hinder me from a lot of stuff. She didn't really want me to see the real world and, you know, expose me to what's out there.
Right.
So I started acting up. 9th grade was cool. You know, I went to Ely 9th grade. I'm from Broward. And 10th and 11th grade was my most amazing years. You know, I finally kind of grew to my own, had my little swag, my little personality, and played basketball. And that was kind of like, you know, I was setting my foot. In the 11th grade, I started to get into trouble because we were poor. You know, like I said, we were living in parallel universes. You had your own life, you had your own family to take care of.
Right.
You still showed me love and support, but it wasn't like we were in the same household.
You didn't feel it, right? Yeah.
So I started doing scamming. You know, everybody was doing scamming from Broward.
So you started scamming in 11th grade?
11th grade, we started doing
Okay, go ahead.
And we were just basically busting checks and, you know, learning that whole game of scamming and, you know, what to do, when to do. And then I just was involved in the neighborhood. I wasn't never really like no street guy, but I knew people in the street and I was still involved in the streets. So, you know, drugs was around. I started smoking weed, started drinking, and I think that was like the changing point in my life, all that drinking and smoking at an early age.
That's what changed, and that's where the downhill effect started.
Mm-hmm.
11th grade. So 11th grade, obviously, I think I had to move our dad up to Boston. I'm trying to rehabilitate him, help him out. I guess I'm trying to save the world at this time, you know, just come back and want everybody to experience good life, you know what I mean? So I go get him off the corner, and literally off the corner, but
because he was
hustling on Broward, hustling on Broward Boulevard. He was
moving furniture
at U-Haul. Yeah. So boom, trying to get my family together, trying to have a man in my life, trying to have the father figures, the men, the boys, you know what I mean? So I moved my dad up there, you know what I mean? It is what it is, you go up there. So we get this bright idea, you know, my little brother's getting in trouble. So I'm like, hey, let's move him up here too, you know? So he's getting in trouble. I think he had got arrested. You know, did you get arrested down there?
Get arrested.
He went to jail and stuff. So I'm like, man, I don't want this for my little brother, so I want to move him up to New England and help him out. So boom, we move him up. Move him up to New England, get him signed up for school. And I have a plan for him. We have a plan. I talked to him about it. And boom, how did it go when you came to New England? How did it start? We signed you up for school, you're playing sports. We got a plan. Talk to us.
So at that time, I was starting to evolve into, I thought was a man. You know, I was just doing smoking and drinking, thinking I was grown. And I'm in the 12th grade now, and I'm in the school in the suburbs. So I got picked up from urban life, rural areas, and put in the suburbs where it's nothing but Caucasian people, honestly.
They didn't even have BET out there, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, they didn't have BET out there. So, you know, it was just a whole different experience. It was like a rude awakening. But I met some people that were similar. We had similar interests. And, you know, we started doing our thing. So I started skipping school because in Broward, as long as you get your work done, as long as you do what you're supposed to do, they really didn't bother you on skipping school. The school I went to. And I was kind of used to that. So when I came up there, they were very strict on you being in school all day.
Right.
And I was rebellion, and I started skipping school, started smoking more weed, and we started hustling weed, you know. Meanwhile, I'm hustling weed, and my brother's in the NFL. So
in the NFL, trying to get him away from what he's doing back home, send him to college so he can progress his life. I'm sorry. But you're not seeing it that way. You in New England, you got all these friends. Your brother's in the NFL.
Brother's in the NFL.
At this point, you're in the 12th grade.
12th grade. 17.
What do you feel you're supposed to be getting, or what is supposed to be giving to you that's not being given to you, that's making you feel away at this point?
Leading up to that point, right? Like I was telling you earlier, back in the day, I used to just hear people talk about, oh man, you're supposed to have this, supposed to have that.
Right.
And you had the 1 year where you had like 10 interceptions. Was that?
Yeah, that was my fourth year.
And then the next year, what you did, 16 interceptions.
No. It went down. It was like 7.
Okay. Well, the 10-year interception, everybody knew he was getting paid all around school. Again, all around school. Hey, your brother just signed an $8 million contract. Yeah, he gonna break you off $1 million. He gonna buy you this. He gonna buy you that. This is all I'm hearing all day. I just got people like just
it's
in my
about that $1 million. Like everybody just say they want $1 million. Somebody, everybody just. $1 million is the number, like.
Yeah,
go ahead.
just assume like $1 million. And you know, everything was cool when I first moved up there. We had our camaraderie. It was all fellas.
Had our bond.
Yeah, we had our bond, and I think I took it for granted at that point. So that's when the defiance started setting in, because you were doing well for yourself. And we had what we need.
And
we just didn't have
blessing everybody at the same time. I'm trying, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. So we had what we need. I just didn't have what I wanted. I wanted more.
You wanted more. And you don't even probably know what that more was, because more probably was never going to be enough.
No.
At that time.
And that's what I had to come to realize. But at the time, I just felt like I wanted more. I wanted allowance. You know, I literally thought when he signed that contract, I'm like, you know what? Bump college, I'm gonna be part of the entourage. We gonna have a whole entourage vibe up here. You know what I'm saying?
So this is your mindset.
This is my mindset.
But you got the adults trying to tell you go to college and show you the right way, but you like forget that.
Forget that.
You gonna be a part of entourage, and that's what you want.
Entourage. You making well enough money to figure out something to do, some type of business or anything.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't have the business mindset, I think that's what kind of hindered me as we go on throughout the story.
Mm-hmm.
But the entitlement starts setting in. I see you coming home with money, and I made $15,000 here. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. So I'm like, shit. Why my pockets over here looking a little dusty? I need an allowance.
Right.
So I think that was the beginning.
You needed probably more of allowance. I'm sure I gave you money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
I took you shopping.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You gave us everything we need. You took me shopping. We had shopping Tuesdays.
All that came from gambling money. Easy Cheese, Rashay Caldwell, rest in peace, dog,
Easy
man.
Cheese, man. One of the realest.
You know what I mean? But yeah, Shopping Tuesday, that was special, man. People used to fly. The women go to Shopping Tuesday. Boy, they know it's going down. I'm coming out with a wad of money. I'm taking everybody's money in the facility. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And he would take his close friends and family shopping.
Yeah, we go shopping.
And then you had a Nike deal too.
I had a Nike deal. Yeah, so
Jordan. I'm buying all the J's.
But it ain't never good enough.
No,
it ain't never good enough.
It's like the more you do for a person, it's like the more they
more this, right? Like what is the mental effect of that? Right? Why are we psychologically like that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just never enough. Like more. Oh, we got this. They can do more. Like, you know what I mean? It's like we have to educate our community, our families. Especially if someone in the family makes it big and becomes into a lot of wealth. I think we got to learn how to educate our families and our friends around us, not just talk down to them or cut them off because they don't understand. I think the first step is trying to educate our families. And the first thing you tell them is, look, the contract says 80 million, but I'm only bringing in 40. Then after that, I got to pay this person. My bills come up to this much. So you expecting me to give you how much? Like, I gotta make sure I'm straight. I can retire, and the family, my kids, and everybody, their future and everything is secure. So I think we gotta learn how to educate our family too, so we can understand. It's somebody has to be the leader to figure that out. To give that education, right? So back to little brother. So you say this is where the entitlement come in. More of what you're getting, because obviously you're getting way more than what you need, right? Mm-hmm. So this is when it starts going bad, right? I'm not the mean person to just be down on people like when they mess up, because I was in his shoes. I was young. I did the same things he did, you know what I mean? But I just didn't have the big brother to come teach me or show me, you know what I mean? I just had to learn and deal with the consequences however they come, you know what I mean? So now, I check my bank account, right? And like you said, scamming, you know what I mean? That's a big thing now. So I check my bank account and it's petty, $2,000, $1,200 is missing. Now I'm trying to figure this out. It's a check written to my little brother for $2,000. And mind you, I don't know how to scam. I never participate, don't never want to be none of that, you know what I mean? So I'm sitting there looking at my account like, I didn't write him a check for $2,000. How did he just cash a check for $2,000? I'm going crazy. I can't figure it out. Bro, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. I don't think at the time he tells me the story, you don't come clean at the time, later down the line. But when you finally tell me the story, you break it down, and do you remember how it went?
I don't remember what I said.
So I think he was like, because I used to check my bank account every day, you know what I mean? So one day the computer's in the loft area. So I think he said, one day I'm checking the account and he got my password. And then when he got my password, if you remember, and then you sent a check to yourself to an address, and that's how you was able to get the check.
I think it just came to our house.
Right, you probably sent it to our house in your name. Right.
And then we had the banker friend who was like the guy that would handle the transaction.
Oh yeah, I think his name was Noah back then. So you probably hit him up, or I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But the crazy thing about that type of situation is I don't know if it was really about the money. I think the entitlement had set in so bad because I had your card to take flights.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I wasn't flying a lot, you still gave me that opportunity. And I just had so much of the information, I really felt like, at the time...
It was more of a rebellious thing than anything.
Because
you had your ways as a child, you had to grow up and, you know what I mean? But it was $2,000, you know what I mean? It wasn't like you was trying to do a life-changing event. It was like you was just being rebellious.
Because number one, you was selling a condo. And me and Pops kept fighting for it. And this just goes back to the whole entitlement thing. I hadn't realized how many people you was taking care of. I would see you come in with these $40,000 checks. $40,000 a week. I thought that was something. Which it is to the average person.
I'm on
$40,000
on my rookie deal.
On the rookie deal, taking care of everybody.
And the $40,000 is really $20,000, like I said, but he only see the $40,000.
Only see the $40,000, and you got kids, you got all these responsibilities, and I'm just like, how the fuck he gonna sell his condo? And he know we want to stay here. You know, like you can keep the condo and we want to stay here. So I say, fuck it. This nigga don't love us. He gonna get rid of the condo. I'm gonna take 2 bands and I'm gonna go live somewhere, right? Stupidest idea ever. I'm gonna go take 2 bands and just, we'll figure it out. I won't even talk to the nigga. Fuck the nigga. He go live his life, I'll live my life.
Right.
And that was like a huge moment in my life. That really, that decision changed the trajectory the next 18 years.
It changed a lot, and for the good and the bad, you know what I mean? It's where I had to cut bro off for a while, you know what I mean? He was, when I cut you off, what were you doing? Because I remember you was living in a condo with no lights.
This is how bad we wanted the condo. So we're in Boston. It's freezing cold. We ain't got no water, we ain't got no heat. But we're still in here because number one, me and Pops wasn't really working. We didn't have the mindset to be like, present your idea, and then maybe you can invest in it, or show you the quality we have as an individual, and you can invest in us. We basically was, like I was saying, entourage. We just drinking, partying, traveling.
Pops quit his job that I got.
It's like girls coming in and out. So many people in the house. Number one, I didn't realize how much of a celebrity you was because of
your brother, right?
But when people in public would see you, or situations would happen, later on I realized man, that could have really fucked his life up. That could have really ruined his life.
Man, I can remember a situation where they would have my car at night, you know what I mean, and they go hang out, and I get up in the morning. They come in at night, so I'm getting up in the morning to go to work, and it'd be a bong in the back seat and all type of craziness from my little brother. And another night, my daddy, I wake up to go get the car to go to work. The whole side of the door just an accident. It's like no police cars. What happened, Daddy? A man was driving on the highway, and you won't believe he just pulled out a shotgun and just shot at me. I had to swerve.
Pops didn't say that.
What the fuck?
Did not say that.
Of course he did. He got the most crazy stories. But it's the things we go through. You know what I mean? Trying to help people out and entitlement people feel. And so now. We move on. You wanted to stay there so bad, this ain't working. I give them heads up, ample time. Look, I'm selling the condo, go back home.
That's when I wrote the check.
Nobody wants to go back home.
We don't want to go back home. It's nothing in Florida. We just started a new life. It's like I got friends up here. The thing about being home is you see the same people. I wanted to start a new life, and the timing wasn't right. Maybe I should have went back home, regrouped, and then met you in Philly or something like that. But we were just thinking about the moment in Boston, because the way you performed in Boston has set us up for life. We probably, till this day, I go up there, I still got friends, I still got people I connect with in high places, and some stuff I don't have to pay for. I go to nice hotels, rentals, all that stuff happened to me just because of your last name, just because the name you built for yourself in Boston. So I didn't really want to leave that at the time.
Right.
And I had a girlfriend up there.
It's a new life. You just open up my eyes. When I go back to the slum,
we gonna be sitting on the corner, smoking weed, playing cards, shooting dominoes.
Being a low life, right?
It's nothing left for me in Florida.
Right. So we go through our situation, right? And we get over it, we reconnect, and we got it going. Right.
So let me go through the process of when we stopped talking.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you how I feel. In the beginning, I definitely was hurt because you can just imagine seeing your brother. He was making $40,000 a week, right? And I thought that was some money. I didn't even see the $8 million checks. I don't know what they were looking like. I'm pretty sure they were decent.
Break it down like this: you get paid. If you get paid every 2 weeks, and you get 16 weeks in the season, you get paid during the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's math question. Every 2 weeks, and you're getting $8 million.
It's like $2 million a week.
It's like $1 million a week.
Yeah, $1 million.
$1 million every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
That's how they would
that was nice.
rolling in.
That was nice. So then he goes to Philadelphia. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I just came back to Florida. People like, damn, where you up there? Why you back here? I'm like, man, I gotta start over. Then I had to start telling some people. I told some people why, and then some people.
You told some people the truth?
Yeah, I told some people the truth.
Did they give you some good advice back?
Nah, people want to kick you when you're down.
Yeah,
Ain't
right.
no good
It's
advice.
crazy, right?
People just love to see you fall.
Damn, you fucked that up.
Yeah, that's all. Why you stupid as hell?
Dumbass.
9 times out of 10,
They
if
do
you
the
take a
same
person
thing.
out of poverty and present them with all them opportunities, present them with that amount of money, it's just a certain level of greed that's set in from a person that hasn't had anything.
Nothing. Yeah.
It's just it changes their whole perspective. So I'm back. I'm in Florida, and then I see you sign $57 million. I'm on the.
And you home.
I'm like, no fucking way. No way this happened to me. And it took me like years to kind of like shake it off because I came back, really didn't have much going on. I think I went to culinary school, started doing that.
Start getting your shit together.
I didn't really love it as much, but it was something to ignite the fire. Started working for Coca-Cola, and you know, that was just something to provide income. I worked at a few restaurants, and it was just really me setting the stone of being a man. You know, I had to grow up and be a man. I can't depend on anybody to take care of me. At the end of the day, I still got to take care of myself. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize that you were trying to just put me in position to be a man and stand up on my own 2 feet. Mm-hmm. So the pivotal point that really changed and what started bringing us closer together is me. Number one, I read this book, and everybody, I want y'all to understand this. If you ever been in this situation, right, and you felt like you made so many mistakes that you can't recover from, you can. You can always recover from bad mistakes. You can always recover from missed opportunities. You can, you know, your past can be your past and your future can be your present as well. You know, like you could change the trajectory of your life. Mm-hmm. But this guy named Deepak Chopra, he talks about the 7 spiritual laws of life. And one of the laws is living by karma. Mm-hmm. Do unto others what you want done unto you. Be a giving person, you know. And that type of stuff, I started implementing that into my life as I'm working, as I'm building my life, and it completely changed my life.
Yeah, I love it. That's what we're here for. We telling the people your testimony, how you rose from nothing to something. Mm-hmm. So you go through this issues with your brother. You say we started off distance, got together, now you created this distance again. Now you distance, like you say, you see all this stuff, your brother signed this contract. Mm-hmm. It's got you feeling a certain way, this and that, you know what I mean? Now, we reconnect, right? Have you forgiven yourself for the choices you made in the situations with your brother, you know what I mean? Like, have you forgiven yourself?
I think the last maybe 2 years, I finally came to forgiving myself. Because at one point, you know, all the stuff that we have been through, I was like, man, I feel so embarrassed to even come around them because of what I've done. Or I feel so embarrassed that people know that's around him, the mistakes that I made, and they probably look at me a certain way, you know. So it took.
And I think that's part of a guilty conscience too, because not many people know, you know, some, you know, maybe 1 or 2 people close family, but you know, he knows that I've been forgiving him. I forgave him 10 times over, 1,000 times over, you know what I mean? But because you're doing something wrong and you're guilty, you will come around and the guilty conscience is going to automatically sit in, you know what I mean? So, you know, obviously, bro.
So I'll say did something wrong up until that point. I was trying to live right, but yeah, it's on my conscience because number one, all the missed opportunities. I missed $57 million. I used to see 80s Nation all over the place. Ace and them boys, Stone and them boys. I'm like, these boys is doing exactly what I wanted to do. I could go make some damn music. I could. What we trying to do, you know? And, you know, it was just, that really needed to happen because I think if you would have continued to give me stuff, and you see it all the time.
Uh-huh.
You see it on 50 Cent talk about it. Boosie talk about it. It was a situation with Boosie and his brother. His brother stole $500,000.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That's
because of the entitlement. You know what I'm saying? They eyes get bigger and bigger, and they like, I deserve more. He making this much, I deserve more, but you didn't put no time in on the field. You're not dealing with all the situations he has to deal with. Mm-hmm. And if the finances go down on your side, who's gonna take care of everybody?
Who gonna help me?
Nobody.
Who gonna help the person on top? That's what you gotta remember too. You know what I mean?
But what really put my mind in perspective is when my mom passed away.
Yeah.
You know, that was the pivotal point in my life where I was like, you know what? Number one, I'm gonna make her proud because she was a really good mom. Mm-hmm. But number two is I'm not gonna let her die in vain. Mm-hmm. The greatest thing I can see from you is you making your mom so proud. Mm-hmm. Your mom was super proud of you, you know, and we share the same dad.
That helps me keep pushing in life, you know.
Right.
Never let her down.
Never let her down. So I was in that position where I was like, I gotta make her proud, you know? And I realized at that point, it's only me by myself. People feel sorry for you for a little bit, but people really don't care about your problems. They don't care what your mom died, you got this ailment going on, or you in this type of situation. 9 times out of 10, people don't care, and they be happy to see you in that situation because it ain't happening to them. Mm-hmm. And that's something I had to learn. So when she passed away, I said, you know what? I'm going to be a person of honesty. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be a person of integrity. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go after my goals and dreams and not let that hold me back. Because I always felt inferior to you because of this big shadow. You know, Asante Samuel. You know, Asante this, he's done that and that. And I always felt like, man, can I ever do anything great for myself? You know, I'm going to have to always live in this shadow. But I read...
But you put that on yourself because you're not really living in my shadow. You just mentally
in it.
Put that in your head. You know what I mean? That's another thing. Like, don't just go to put things in your head and create this environment that's uneasy and it's hard to deal with because you ain't talking to nobody. You just talking to yourself and assuming whatever you want to assume. You know what I mean? That'd be the crazy part.
Your mind be playing tricks on you.
Yeah.
But some people can feel like that. One book I read was, I listened to the audio book, is the 48 Laws of Power.
Right, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Law.
A lot of people told me, I never read it, but they tell me I live my life like that. It's like, you know what I mean? But I never read it. But
it's a lot of good techniques and like skills in there. You automatically do it because I think you not having your dad in your life as much made you be a stronger person.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So, you know,
for sure.
Having
you gotta learn on your own. When you gotta learn on your own, that make it that much more. It's just like somebody, like if I gave you $1 million or you went and earned $1 million, you know what I mean? You're gonna feel you're gonna learn much more about the $1 million and
spend it differently.
You're gonna spend it differently. You're gonna care about
spend it as fast.
Yeah, you know.
And I used to say that too. I was like, man, give me 20,000 or 40, 50,000. I would have took that money and blowed it in 2 days.
Because the first thing I did, let's back up. You was in high school, I make it to the league. The first thing I do is I get them a vehicle. My dad ain't had a car ever since I know him. You had a car, he's missing a tooth. I got him getting that fixed, I get all that fixed. Now I got a car. It ain't the best car, it ain't a new car, it's just a car. So, you know, everybody have a car, transportation, get used to it. I think it was a Toyota Camry.
It was a Toyota Camry.
Toyota Camry.
So hold on, pause that, let's go back. So, you know, we didn't live together, but through life we would see each other, you would make time for me, I really appreciate that. You would find a way we'll see each other, right? And you pulled up one day in a Cutlass. Was it the Cutlass with rims on it?
Probably.
So you got the Cutlass booted, painted, candy paint. I had to be probably like 13, 14 at the time. And you like, oh yeah, bro, when you get your license together, I'm gonna give you this. So I'm like, bam. I'm like, bam. I'm about to be rolling in high school. Boy, I'm gonna be doing my thing, right? And man, I get round to 16. I'm so hyped. I'm like, ooh, whatever. I know he got that cutlass waiting for me.
It's in your mind. You ain't...
I know he got that cutlass waiting for me. And Pops come down. Pops was driving it. He was using it before he went to Boston. And he brought it to me. And I'm like, man, what is this?
The car bought.
It was a 1996 Toyota.
Another entitled moment. He's like, what is this? Now, mind you, this is probably my second year in the league.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not thinking about that. Everybody see NFL players making $1 million plus. You know, they don't realize. They just assume you're making millions. But, you know, being with you, I understood it's different tax bracket. You got some people in the league making barely 6 figures.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was crazy about that. So I'm like, all right, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? And I really didn't appreciate it at the time, but it was the thought that counted. And it was my first car, you know, so I really didn't know how to drive. I had
a learning experience. It's a part of learning, you know what I mean? Right. Because I bought the car, and what happened to the car?
I went up to Boston and they towed it. And
they left it on the side, parked, and towed, and gone.
So number one, I did have jobs throughout high school, but I played sports from time to time, so I would like fluctuate jobs. And I didn't have a job at the time, so I put a piece of cardboard on the back of the tag, said lost tag, and I never had insurance on it.
Oh, that's what happened.
So I was driving it around the whole time with no insurance, no tag.
It was parked in the neighborhood, but
yeah, it was parked in the neighborhood for a while. I think when I parked it and I left for weeks, and I didn't tell my mom to sell it or whatever, do anything to it. The hurricane came and smashed the windows out.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, the hurricane came, hailstorm and smashed.
I'm like, where the car at?
They told it.
It's gone.
Somebody got a free car, boy.
So now, if your little brother or family member did what you did to me, how would you handle it?
So honestly, man, when the drugs hit in the 80s, I'm kind of going off topic, but I'm gonna bring it all around. The drugs affected our families, you know, and to bring it down, my brothers now kind of it trickled down to one of my brothers. Mm-hmm. So he's been dealing with drug addiction for a long time. Mm-hmm. So a lot of stuff I used to see him do to me, I just assumed it was okay to do to you.
Oh.
You know, like I used to see him wear my clothes. I remember one time I went in there to try to wear your clothes and stuff. Number one, they were too big. We were wearing triple X's at the time.
Right. 4XTs.
4XTs. You got these long clothes. I can't fit your shoes. So that was a no. But I would still try to wear your stuff, and you told me, bro, stay out my shit. Right. Stay out my stuff. And then just borrowing money from him. He'd take my money. He's just like, whatever, you know? Yeah, da-da-da. So I don't know. I just thought it was a brotherly thing. We just share everything. Mm. But the way I would have dealt with it, and I continue to deal with it because my brother's still dealing with issues, is you have to cut them off, you know, for a time being, because they take for granted what you do for them, you know.
And they ain't gonna never get rid of that until
they'll never get rid of it entirely. You gotta let them isolate themselves and recover. Rick Ross said it. You don't beef with your homie, just cut them off a little bit. He'll come back around. You know? So I would have done the same thing. I would have cut him off and just gave him the love from a distance. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what I would have done.
Now my brother is doing so great for himself. He's not married yet, but he has a family. They bought a house together. He's doing his thing, an entrepreneur. He done started multiple businesses, you know, things he had going. Sold, selling business, buying businesses, starting new businesses. And he's an entrepreneur, and he's doing his thing. I'm definitely proud of him. And the sky is the limit for brother Terrell. And anything else from my entitled brother?
Yeah, that had to happen. Honestly, you cutting me off was the best thing for me because, you know, people need to have some type of motivation. Yeah. And I don't know, in the beginning, when I first seen you, you were still kind of in the league. You were kind of balling, and I seen you in the club.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tell him what you did.
So he owned the club, right? And the entitlement is just not even flowing through my head. Right?
This was the worst of them all. This is absolutely worst of it all. Go ahead.
But we get in the club, which I'm using his name. Asante Samuel, little brother. I don't even need to pay for nothing. I'm grabbing bottles. Yeah, let me get a bottle. Asante Samuel, little brother. And I hadn't seen you for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it was wild. I ain't haven't seen you. I'm damn near scared of you. I don't know what you about to do. What you got going on,
Right. So I got the little chick with me. We hanging out, having a good time.
I can still see in my head.
You can still see. I was so mad at her too. This fucking female. So I'm in the club, mobbing, having a good time. I see him. I said, "Oh, there you go." I got $100 at once. I'm in there just throwing it. I'm throwing it. Showing out, right? I ain't got no money.
He got
money. I got a little bit of money, but it's not.
He's throwing it kind of towards me, and I'm like, "What is this? Is that Terrell?
Yeah.
What is this?
What is it?
No.
What is he on?
What is it? Look crazy, man. Let me get away from you."
So I throwed it, had my little moment. Nobody even seen it. It was just like
us. We just like they wouldn't even put it together,
right?
Yeah.
And
he didn't even say, "What's up, bro?" He didn't say nothing. He saw me. Start dancing with the girl.
And
like, what are you doing?
And then she picked up the money.
Really?
You don't remember what happened? I'm throwing the money. She goes like this. I was just so embarrassed. She grabs the money, has it like that, and then she's like leaned back. She started dancing on one of the dudes in your entourage. I don't know if she was drunk or what, but she was like in fairy tale.
Are you
She
kidding
just closed
me?
her eyes, she dancing like that. Man, I had to drag out the club.
Your whole little plan just went crazy.
Sabotage. And then I try to talk to you, grab the bottle at the bar. You like, man, I don't want to talk right now.
Oh yeah.
I say, all right, man. Okay.
Yeah, you set the energy off. That was bad energy you had going on.
That was bad energy for sure.
Yeah.
So that needed to happen, man, because it taught me how to be a man. It taught me how to make my own money. It created opportunities for me. Like I done traveled the world. I've been in multiple countries. Like he said, I done started multiple businesses. I make money online.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to become my own person. I didn't have to worry about his shadow.
Right.
It's just a connection. We're brothers. You know what I'm saying? I can be my own man, have my own sauce, and have my own opportunities.
Absolutely.
And still live a great life. We all don't need to be making millions of dollars to live a great life.
Right.
A few $100,000, you can live a great life.
Yeah.
So
and guess what? And since that incident happened and had to come, he ain't asked me for one thing. $1 million he had in his mind. He been trying to buy me this. And I'm like, but it's cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he buy me
take
gifts.
you out to dinner.
Yeah, he trying to do things for me, and I definitely appreciate it. You know what I mean? So, that fairy tale of those millions and whatever you think you're supposed to get, man, get it out your head. Just enjoy the journey. Enjoy whatever come with it. And just live your life and be happy. Or you might miss out on most of the journey and most of the memories. So don't be that person. And this is the art of interception, where we say what needs to be said.
This your guy, Terrell CEO Samuel, aka Talk Don't Stop. And
we out, baby, Mr. Pick 6.